Hi everyone. Now we are going to discuss about one other important applications of Schrödinger's wave equation on explaining the concept of tunneling effect. So this question may be very famous to be discussed as the barrier penetration problem. So you know that quantum tunneling falls under the domain of quantum mechanics, whereas it says about the study of particles or the actions happen at quantum scale, otherwise nanoscale. So this process cannot be directly perceived, but much of its understanding is shaped by the microscopic world, which classical mechanics cannot be adequately explained. So to understand the phenomena of quantum tunneling or tunneling effect, so it was given with a simple example of a particles attempting to travel between potential barriers, and we have a very simple example of a ball trying to roll over the hill. So you just find the case, a diagram is given here. So you just think about the blue color is a ball. If the ball is trying to travel over the hill or trying to roll over the hill. If suppose the ball have enough kinetic energy, that means that it have a chance to reach the height, and then once it reaching at the height it become potential energy, and then after some time started dragging over the opposite side. So this to be happen with respect to the kinetic energy of the system. So regarding the explanation of this concept, quantum mechanics and classical mechanics differ in the treatment because of the scenario is totally different. So if you say that, well, we are going to discuss about classical mechanics predicts that the particles that do not have enough energy to classically surmount a barrier and will not be able to reach the other side. So otherwise we say that the particles having lesser amount of energy than the energy to require to reach the height of the hill, what is happening out? It tried to reach certain positions and then try to drag back. So that to be named as a reflection. Or otherwise in an extreme case, we have a chance of the ball will be exactly get into the hills and then the total energy will be absorbed. So these are the things what is to be happen while you are comparing with or while you are discussing about the concept of ball over the hill, ball rolling over the hill by using of classical mechanics. Whereas if we consider the finest particle in the same principle, so we have a chance in quantum mechanics, the particle with this very small probability may tunnel through the other side, thus crossing the barrier. So here the ball could in a sense borrow energy from its surroundings to tunnel through the wall or roll over the hill. So paying it back by making the reflected electrons more energetic than they otherwise would have been. So this is the condition not to be happen in classical mechanics, whereas the concept of tunneling is only possible while explaining through quantum mechanics. So just notice this diagram. You say that the kinetic energy of the particle is higher as compared to the potential energy of the barrier. Then we say that particles may reach the position, and then you know well the potential energy is not that much, the energy of the particle is not at all enough to cross the barrier. So a few amount of particles which may be tunneled through the barrier, that means that there is a decreasing in amplitude of the output waves. So the particles which is on wave motion may have a chance of finite amount of particles may pass through or tunnel through the barrier. That means that we have chance of reaching the other side. So this is the concept of quantum tunneling. So quantum tunneling is a phenomenon in which particles penetrate a potential barrier with height greater than the total energy of the particle. So this phenomenon is so interesting. Why? Because of it violates the principle of classical mechanics. So quantum tunneling or tunneling effects refers to the quantum mechanical phenomena where a particle tunnels through a barrier which couldn't be explained on the basis of classical mechanics. So why this word is important? Why we have to discuss about quantum mechanics? Because the quantum tunneling plays a major role on explaining the concept of alpha decay, nuclear fusion, and some other best examples of quantum tunneling effect is about superconducting transistors, or you say Josephson transistors, like that. So it has an important application in modern devices such as tunneling diodes, quantum computing, and scanning tunneling microscope also. So now we start explaining what is called tunneling effect. You just find a case, a particle without the energy to pass over the barrier, potential barrier, may still tunnel through it. So that is the concept of tunnel effect. So just find a case, a system is considered with the three regions, region 1, 2, 3. So when a particle of energy E, which is less than U, the energy of the potential barrier, which approaches the potential barrier, so according to classical mechanics, the particles must be reflected back. Whereas if you consider by quantum mechanics, de Broglie waves, that means the waves associated with the minute particles have a chance of partial reflection or otherwise partially transmitted through the barrier. So it is a finite chance of that, which means that there is a finite chance of the particle penetrating through the barrier. So now you consider a beam of identical particles having a kinetic energy E, which is passed through the barrier. So that means that the beam is incident on the left, from the left, on the potential barrier of height U with the length with the width of L. So you just notice that on the both sides of the potential barrier, the energy U will be equal to 0, by means it is to be named as a finite wall. There is no force acting on the particles there. So the wave function psi of 1 plus represents the incoming particles moving towards right, from the left to right. As an incoming particle, we already known that once a particle is incident on the barrier, we know that certain amount of particles will get reflected back, by means that it is represented as psi of 1 minus, whereas certain amount of energy may pass through it, so that is called as psi 2. So the psi 2 represents the particles inside the barrier, some of which end up in region 2, whereas some other to be returned back. So whereas psi 3 plus represents the transmitted particles moving right. So we have a chance of, whenever you say that there is a chance of a beam of particles are moving towards the barrier, we have a chance of particles either to be reflected back or to be transmitted. So the transmission leads with tunneling through the barrier. So once the particle is getting, the particle in a wave motion is getting into the barrier, so it reaches in the walls of the barrier. So in the edge of the barriers, we have two options. Either the particles may coming out of the region, otherwise it will be reflected back. So as of our case, it was informed that, and it is inferred that most amount of energy may be transmitted. So in this region 3, we have the output of the wave we are achieved with. So the transmission probability T for a particle of mass m pass through the barrier is equal to the fraction of the incident beam that gets through the barrier. So by means of this, theoretically derived it as the value of T, transmission probability equal to exponential times of minus of 2k2 into L. So L is the total width of the barrier. So here the value of K2 is to be derived as 2 times of m into U minus E divided by h cross the root of. So you know m is the mass of the particle and U is the energy of the barrier, potential barrier, and E is the kinetic energy of the particles, and h cross is a constant. So by using of the values, you can determine the transmission probability of particles to tunnel through the barrier. So this one is called as tunneling effect. Whereas if you want to derive the exact term of T, you just start working with the case of the barrier penetration problem. You just notice the diagram. As it is, we have a chance, a beam of particles are coming towards the barrier here. So the height of potential energy V. So we have the length of, I'll say, but width of the barrier will be around L. So you just notice that whenever we have a beam of particles are moving towards the barrier, you know well, we have a chance of the particles may be most of the particles may be reflected back, whereas few percentage of the particles may pass through the barrier. So whereas on this case, at the end of this wall, we have a chance of the particles may be again transmitted through it, whereas some amount of particles may be rejected. So in this case, we consider because of the minute amount of particle to be reflected back, we are not considering the reflection by the barrier. Whereas just notice about the variation in amplitude. So the incident wave have the maximum amplitude, whereas due to the tunneling effect, the amplitude of the transmitted wave get decreased. So just find a case when V is greater than E. So on both sides of the barrier b equal to 0, which means that no force act upon the particle there. So if you are considering the boundary conditions for b equal to 0, so in the region, first region, where you say the function of the particle will be, the wave function of particle will be psi 1, so b equal to 0 for the term x less than 0. Whereas we have the total energy of the barrier will be v, so the value of v will be get for the term of x is greater than 0 and less than L, so that is to be termed as region 2. So the wave function of a particle within this region will be defined as psi 2. Likewise, if you consider the third region where the term again v will be 0, the potential energy will be 0, by means that for the condition of x is greater than L, we say this the region 3, the wave function of particle in this region 3 to be named as psi 3. So we generally say psi 1, psi 2, psi 3 are the respective wave functions of the regions of 1, 2, 3 as indicated in this figure. So just notice that due to tunneling effect, some amount of energy will be lost in this system. So now you consider the Schrödinger's wave equation. We are just working with time independent wave equation. So for the region, the particles in region 1, so we have this wave equation d squared psi 1 by dx squared, otherwise you can write this even rho squared also, plus pi squared m e divided by h squared of psi 1 equal to 0 since v equal to 0. So we have a term e minus v will be there, that v will be 0. Whereas in the region 2 we have terms of value will be there, so it is the general term came as it is. So again the term for v is 0 in region 3. So you can get near equal terms of region 1, only difference is the wave function on the region only be psi 1, whereas in region 3 it is psi 3, because you know well the wave function is not even on the region 1 and region 3. So these are the three equations of Schrödinger's wave function with respect to psi 1, psi 2 and psi 3. So you just notice that on these equations this term is very common, 8 pi squared me by h squared is common along with the v. So by means that we can make this term as alpha squared, and then one more term is there, that e minus v to be written as v minus e as per the convenience of the calculation to get beta squared. So you just rewrite this equation as these three equations as like this: dou squared psi 1 by dou x squared plus alpha squared psi 1 equal to 0. Likewise the second term we have this one, this form in this second term of that equation. So we have minus of beta squared into psi 2, whereas the third term only difference is psi 3 equal to 0. So while they are solving of these three Shannon differential equations, we got the solutions of for region 1. Psi 1 is the wave function of a particle in region 1 will be equal to a e power I alpha x plus b e power minus I alpha x. Likewise, if you go for region 3, because these region 1 and region 3 are nearly same, unless otherwise there is a variation of wave function with respect to amplitude. So you just got the term C and D. We say find A, B, C, D, F and G are the amplitude of the wave on the particular regions. So if you start saying about psi to the region 2, you just notice that it is f of f into e power of minus beta x plus g e power beta x. They are not mentioned e because of to reduce the confusion. So they given the term of constant as a, b, c, d. Instead of e, they make it as f and g. So you say what is a? A is the amplitude of the wave from the incident. So a is the amplitude of the incident wave. Whereas you just notice about in the region, whenever light is incident over the barrier, we have a chance of a percentage of energy get reflected back. That means that B is the amplitude of the reflected wave in region 1. Likewise, if you consider the term F, F is the amplitude of the wave where it is penetrating through the barrier of region 2. Whereas G is the amplitude of the reflected wave which is getting back from the region 2. Likewise, if we consider the term C is the amplitude of the transmitted wave in region 3, and whereas D is the amplitude of wave reflected back, as it is happening in a normal medium, so there is no chance of the existence of the reflection of happening up. So that's why we say it is the D is the amplitude is totally neglected or non-existence. So now we notice that it is we have to draw the wave function through the three regions as shown in figure, and it was continuous and singly valued everywhere along the x-axis. Okay. Now you are just saying that what about the probability density of wave function, which is proportional to square of the amplitude of the function. So we can define the barrier transmission coefficient T will be equal to the square of C, the amplitude of the wave of transmitted wave to the incident wave. You just find this is the coefficient. So whenever you know the term psi square is the function is there. So psi square represents the probability of wave function. So on this case they mentioned the term C represents the probability of the transmitted wave to the probability of the incident wave. So which gives probability density of or barrier transmission coefficient of the particles. Likewise, what about the chance of reflection on the region 1 at x equal to 0? Because we are considering reflection on barrier region 2 and region 3. So we are considering reflection to be happen only on region 1 because of the lowest magnitude what we achieved in region 2 and region 3. So in region 1 the reflection coefficient R will be equal to the ratio between B square minus divided by A square. So B is the amplitude of the reflected wave to the amplitude of the incident wave. So if the barrier is high enough compared to the total energy of the particle or thick compared to the wavelength of the wave function, so the transmission coefficient will be given as T is nearly equal to 16 by E by V times of 1 minus E by V and exponential of minus 2L divided by H cross times of root of 2m V minus E. Here you just notice that E is the kinetic energy of the particle, V is the potential energy of the barrier, and L is the width of the barrier. Likewise, all other terms are constants. So m is the mass of the particle and H cross, H is the Planck's constant. So by using of this con, you can easily find out the probability density of the particle to pass through the barrier. So the ratio of T equal to C square by A square is also to be named as penetratability of the barrier, and it represents the probability that a particle incident on a barrier from one side will appear on the other side. So such a probability is 0 while you are thinking about in classical mechanics, whereas it is found 100% possible in quantum mechanics. So we thus conclude that if a particle of energy E is incident on a thin energy barrier of a height greater than E, there is a finite probability of the particle penetrating through the barrier. So this condition is to be termed as, or this phenomenon is named as tunnel effect. So using of this tunnel effect, so much of physical phenomena are explained. So one of the important applications of tunneling effect is alpha decay exhibited by radioactive nuclei. So this was explained in 1928 by George Gamow. So now we start explaining three important uses or application of tunneling effect by comparing with the other concepts. The first important application of indicating or informing the use of tunneling effect is defining the concept of nuclear fusion in Sun. So you already known well nuclear fusion is combination of two nuclei to get a singular nucleus. So how it is possible? Because you already known well as per classical mechanics, same charges repulse each other. So once we consider this case, we say that two nuclei, as ever deuterium and tritium, have its own nuclear mass and nuclear content like protons and neutrons. So those are positive charged to each other. So whenever you say about what about the Coulomb barrier between the two protons when they fuse together is much higher. So you only known well the source of energy of Sun is because of nuclear fusion of the elements available inside the core of the Sun. The temperature of the core to be around 10 power 6 to 10 power 7 Kelvin. So as per the calculation, it was noticed that the energy required for the nucleus to overcome the Coulomb repulsion force between the same charges of nucleus is expected to be around 10 power 9 Kelvin. But we already known well the maximum temperature of the core of the Sun is to be around 10 power 6 to 10 power 7 Kelvin. Then how it is possible that two nuclei are combined together to get the common nuclei? So by using of classical mechanics, it is not at all possible. So this problem is overcome by means of we have a chance of while the two nuclei are combined together, we have a chance of protons may tunnel through from one nuclei to other by means of it just crossing the barrier to create a newer nuclei. So this is the concept how we are explaining the basic of nuclear fusion, which is not to be explained on the basis of classical mechanics, whereas we have a chance of explaining how to eliminate or how to reduce the effect of Coulomb barrier between the two molecules or nuclei by means of tunneling effect. So this is the one important application of quantum tunneling. Likewise, if you start explaining about alpha particle decay from a radioactive nuclei, it was noticed that for a polonium-212 which emits 8.72 million electron volt of alpha particle with a half-life of 0.3 microseconds. So already known that whenever the nuclei start radioactive, we have a chance of alpha particles, beta particles and gamma rays are got emitted. So alpha particles are nothing but nuclei of helium. It is an atom of nuclei, whereas helium, whereas we have beta particles are nothing but a ray of electrons, fast moving electrons, and then gamma rays or electromagnetic rays are coming out. So how it is possible a proton is coming out from the nucleus? So it is not at all possible because you know well protons are combined with neutrons with certain form of electrostatic potential energy. We say it is very strong nuclear force of action is happening on it. Suppose a particle want to come out, alpha particle have to come out from a nucleus, means it requires at least 26 million electron volt of energy. So by means that it is not at all possible by the protons or the nucleus or the molecules coming out from the nucleus by classical mechanics. Whereas if you start using of quantum mechanics tunneling, we have a chance of small probability that alpha particles may penetrate through the barrier. So now we notice that if this one is the barrier which representing the potential well or potential barrier of the nuclear wall, so a beam of protons or alpha particles are start moving from the core to the edges. So when we have a chance of the particles never to overcome the potential barrier, so we have a chance of a finite amount of alpha particles are coming out of the nucleus, by means that you just notice that the total nuclear energy will goes on decreasing because of decreasing trend of the elements available inside the nucleus. So you just find to evaluate the probability of the alpha particles inside the nucleus is represented by a free particle wave function which is subjected to nuclear potential. So inside the barrier, the solution to the Scornius equation becomes a decaying exponential curve. So while calculating the ratio of the wave function outside the barrier and inside and squaring that ratio gives the probability of alpha emission. So you already known well c squared by a squared will reach with what about the transmission possibilities of alpha particles. Okay. So by this way you can easily explain the concept of alpha decay where it is not possible by classical mechanics. So now we just going to discuss about one other important application of quantum tunneling. It is scanning tunneling microscope. So you already known well regarding the microscopes. We started utilizing of optical microscope and then we came with the picture of scanning electron microscope and transmission electron microscopes are already available. So regarding the concept of optical microscopes, you know well we are using with the fixed focal length of optical instruments, by means that we have very less magnification power is achieved. Whereas we just started utilizing the concept of wave nature of the particles, so we started using electron as a wave, by means that we just induce the magnification power. It's one of the important application of quantum mechanics on its observations, by means that we have a chance to achieve three-dimensional image of the surface of the sample. That is the importance of scanning electron microscope. So we can keep a note on it. We can get 3D images of the surface alone. Whereas if you want to improve the quality of ionification, we have the next option. So we have to go with transmission electron microscopy, by means that when we make the closest distance between the sample and the source, we can increase the magnification power, by means that we can go to the extent of around 1 nanometer scale of accuracy or 1 nanometer scale of magnification power while using our transmission electron microscopy. But the issue is you can get the resulted as 2D images. So without STM, there is no chance of achieving 3D images. So the new class of microscope with atomic resolutions is utilized by means of quantum tunneling effort by utilizing of tunneling current between the specimen and the very sharp tip has been developed. So scanning tunneling microscope take advantages of the tunneling phenomena observed from quantum mechanics to probe any conductive surface with atomic resolutions. So just notice that the diagram what we given. So we have particles before the barrier. So we have a chance of movement. So once it get reaching a barrier, we have a chance of the most of the particles are get reflected back, whereas few amount of particles may pass through it through a barrier. So we have a chance of movement occurs even in a non-conductive area, or could it be passed through the particle. So that leads with tunneling current between the tip of the STM to the conducting material. So while analyzing the amount of current received from the sample, we are just calculating the distance between the tip and the sample. By means you have a chance of achieving three-dimensional images of the sample. So in quantum mechanics, we find the wave function which is to be named as the probability amplitude of the electrons, which can be extended into barrier. So the incident electron does not have sufficient energy to overcome the potential barrier which encounters, and nevertheless its wave function extends into and past the barrier. So that is the concept of quantum tunneling effect. We just utilize this principle on working of scanning tunneling microscope. So the implication of this result is that electrons can pass through or tunnel through the potential barriers by virtue of their probability densities. So the relaxation of the classical assumption that the probability must be zero in higher potential region leads to this phenomena, so which has been experimentally verified in numerous experiments. So furthermore, the solutions to this coordinate equation in these scenarios shows that wave function have an exponential decay dependence on distance through the potential barrier. As such, the potential probability density of the particles is smaller in the region beyond the barrier than the region period to the barrier. So to the sum, we can say the probability density of tunneling particles is exponentially dependent on the width of the barrier, and it is tunneling through it. So now we just seen the diagram, working diagram of a STM. So we have a metal tip of a very sharp edge in the nanoscale level, which is given with a current. So it is given the electric charge, where we have connecting samples are there, which 3D images of the samples are to be focused in nanoscale level or atomic resolution. These are also given with positive charge. So in known well, so we have a chance of movement of charges from negative to positive to be expected, whereas we have a barrier is there. So the tip and the samples are given with certain distance, so we have no more chance of direct connect will be happening out. So on this region, what is expected? You just notice that because of a sharp tip, there is a chance of largest accumulation of charges are there at the edges of the sharp tip. So once you are getting closer with the sample, you just notice that the electrons may not have a chance to pass through the samples in direct. It may have a chance to tunnel through it, through the barrier. So by means that we are expecting a movement of charges from the metal tip to the conductor without having any direct contact. So we just started analyzing what about the tunneling current achieved from the sample, and then we just start working with the feedback loop mechanism. By means that we just keep moving the metal tip over the sample, that will be named as rastering the sample. By means that we can just analyze the step-by-step process of each and every step. What about the tunneling current we achieved? By means of the tunneling currents, we have a chance of getting out the distance between the tip and the sample. So we can have a chance of imaging the three-dimensional structure of the system, a three-dimensional structure of the sample. So by using of STM, we have a chance to obtain atomic resolution images on the conductive surfaces. So just seen the working diagram of STM. I already informed that. So we have a sharp tip is connected with the negative potential, whereas sample is a connecting material where is connected with positive potential. So due to a sharp tip, some amount of accumulation of charge is happening at the tip, whereas between the tip to the sample we are making of certain amount of gap. So that is to be termed as a non-conducting medium, to be taken as the barrier potential. So where there is accumulation charges or have a chance of to transmit or to be tunneled through the samples by means of quantum tunneling effect, by means that we are expecting movement of charges from one end to opposite end, which is produced with tunneling current. So by use of the step-by-step process, we just keep on analyzing the tunneling current. So according to the amount of tunneling current produced, we are just defining with the image of the surface. So just notice this diagram, you can get the three-dimensional image of the conducting sample. So this is the most important application of quantum tunneling effect on practical version of defining the high resolution images of the surface of the microparticles. Okay, so these are the three important application of quantum tunneling effect. So I think all of you understand this topic well. We'll meet you soon with the next topic. Thank you.